Oh my god. Let me remember.
Um,
I don't actually remember.
Gosh, I think
Oh my god. Let me remember. Honestly, I think that this was when I was like 16-year-old, and there was this really gorgeous British guy I had met at a hotel, and like it was really the first time, and it's it was actually like a really really bad year in high school because I was not bullied a lot, but I had a really bad and a really hard time at high school because I always spoke funny and I always had like stuttering problems and stuff. And then I met this guy who made me who had looked at me for the first time in another way, and it just felt amazing to just be looked to just have someone look upon my speech problem and stuff like that. So I was just it was just so mind blowing, and it was actually incredible, and it was really a completely new feeling, and I was like, oh my god, this is what it feels like to have someone actually want you, to have someone actually appreciate you for you.
gosh, I mean, I probably said it to, little boyfriends in kindergarten or something. But the first time that I said it and meant it, was, a pretty cool experience with a boyfriend in high school. And, that was my first real experience with love and, or at least romantic love. And, it was a good relationship for the time that it lasted, and unfortunately it didn't last as many relationships do, but for that time in my life it was what I needed.
I think the first one I say that is to my dog. Yeah, because in Taiwan we don't say that a lot. I don't think I ever hear some other Taiwanese. You say it's my grandma. My grandma said it to me before, but people usually don't say that.
Um, Wait, I have to think. So I think that is not a typical heartbreak, but I think it was really, really the first one. So I started horse riding because I'm from a really countryside bit, really small town from Switzerland. So I started horse riding when I was 8, and obviously I had my favorite horse and stuff. And at some point, she got really old, but at some point, obviously, she died. And that was probably my first heartbreak. It's really unspectacular, but I was a little girl and I was sad, so yeah, that was probably it.
Same girl, actually. Because that was the first person outside of family that I said I love you to. So she actually broke up with me. We were long distance, and so that was just heart wrenching. Because I think when you feel so close to someone, and even whether it's love or not, and they kind of separate from you, and I think when you're a teenager, especially, it kind of feels like it's your whole being, and then when you lose that, it's like a piece of you is gone. So I remember just being torn up over that. But thank God, looking back, it wasn't the end, only the beginning.
Gosh, it was rough. It was devastating as a teenager, and something that took a long time to get over and to recover and to spend time figuring out what my identity was outside of that relationship, since that relationship was no more. And figuring out what friends were truly my friends instead of his friends or our friends. And just it took probably a good year to reconstruct my world and to feel confident in that world.
Probably my grandfather. If you had asked me this yesterday, I would have said my brother, but he is actually in the next room now because I just flew out to visit him. So I would say my grandfather. I haven't seen him in a year. We Zoom every single day, but I haven't seen him in person for more than 2 minutes in 10 months. So I think it's tough not to see those people because elderly people are high risk. So it's a little tough, but yeah, that's definitely someone I'm missing, my grandfather.
Ooh. You know what? I'm quarantined alone. England is in lockdown and I'm living alone right now, so there's a lot of people I'm missing. But honestly, it is one of my best friends called Mo. We used to date, obviously, but now he's just my really, really close friend, and I don't think I've ever had anyone I could talk about literally anything with and like feel so understood. Like, I told him stuff that I've never told anyone before, and even though we're not dating anymore, he's still that same kind of guy to me, that I literally, with every little problem, I run to him. And yeah, it's probably him that I miss the most.
There's not just one person. There are a lot of people. Honestly, one person, maybe either my great aunt or my two little cousins, because we grew up together. And we would always go on vacation together. And every time I'd go back to Egypt, because right now I live in Luxembourg. So every time I'd go back to Egypt, I would go to spend at least like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 days at their house, and I would always feel like it's my house and like they're my little sisters and stuff. And right now because of the pandemic situation, and because they live with their great aunt, and because their mother like is really like scared of viruses and bacteria, I haven't seen them in almost 2 years, and it's so painful and it's really, really hard. Like right now I just want to go. I just want to go to their place, but I know that their mother is just super scared of letting them outside, and of them getting the virus. So I know for now I can see them unless everybody gets vaccinated. I know that I won't be able to see them for a while, so I really miss them.
I would say the first or most important thing is to love yourself first, because I really think if you can love yourself, it's hard to love someone else. So yeah, so love yourself first, take care of yourself, and then you can. Now, if you can go out, you can be out chats like we're doing right now, and you can connect with other people.
I think the best piece piece of advice I could give is like, you can miss people, you can miss the feeling of people loving you, but before loving other people and before having people loving you, you also have to love yourself. And that in this time alone is actually good for yourself, because you can learn to love yourself and to reconnect to yourself and to focus on yourself and maybe do some activity that you've never done before. I mean, I also hate being alone, and the lockdown was quite challenging for that. But then I just started focusing on activities, on several crazy activities I could do. Like, for example, during the lockdown, I started working out. I started playing video games again. I was watching a lot of series for absolutely no reason. I started learning Norwegian as well. I was like, okay. I just started doing anything in my mind, and I just started to create myself a little routine, just to move past the feeling, to not think about the fact that I was alone, just to do something that would make me love myself even more, and something I was excited of doing. So this is the thing, the best advice I would give people.
Probably say just keep holding on, because better times are coming, and when those better times come, we're gonna appreciate it a lot more to see each other. Yeah.
I think something for me that really made a difference, and I think is kind of relevant, is Yes Theory. And through that, I've started listening to podcasts about happiness. And I think the message of seeking discomfort, which is the idea of what you're doing, of getting out of the place where you're from, and even during COVID, I think there are ways to seek discomfort, even exactly like this interview, meeting strangers, kind of getting out of that isolation, and I started listening to podcasts about what it means to be happy and how to achieve your own happiness through just understanding yourself. So I think my advice would be to not just try and be complacent, but to try and actively go after whatever makes you happy, even though we're in such a isolated and constricted world.
I think just not giving up hope that this time in life will end and we will be able to be reunited with everyone. And it's a great time to reflect and to prepare yourselves for all of the time that we will get to spend with everyone.